Welcome back to another episode of the Art of Selling Travel podcast. As mentioned, I am Glenda and I am the host. And this episode, not even close to the one that was supposed to happen. We're going to re record that one yet again. If ever I say, oh my heavens, Windows is the best system ever, just go ahead and slap me upside the face. I have had more tech issues. I don't want to say than the airlines, but man, I totally get with the airlines, the frustration they had. Because just when I think I've come out the other side of it, nope, new update. I have shut off all the automatic updates, and yet bam, there's a new one. And so I am actually recording this off of an old janky laptop that every so often the fan kicks in and it feels like a airplane going down the runway because those jet engines are kicking in. So if suddenly at some point you hear some weird whining sound, just know that is my technology because that's what we're rocking with. But no, in all seriousness, here's the thing. I did struggle to come up with my topic this week. I finally came up with one that just fit so perfectly. And actually, before I got to that one, I tried recording about seven different ones. And every time the tech totally like jumbled it up. And I knew it wasn't the right one to record. But then the other day, I was able to hit a beautiful episode, recorded the whole thing, listened to it back just to be sure that it was all working well, only to find out that every, I don't know, minute and a half, my audio totally cut out, or it buffered, or it vibrated. And as much as I loved the content that was in there, I love you more. And I want you to keep listening. And I couldn't keep listening to that episode, so I knew you couldn't. So I will get around to re-recording that episode, pouring my heart and soul into it as well, because everything I do, I know that your time is precious, and I want to make sure that we are providing you valid, relevant content. But see, here's the thing. This week is a little bit different because it's not the amazing content that I had planned. It's not even the halfway's decent content that I tried to record, which clearly I wasn't ready to record it yet because it just didn't feel right in the soul. And as the weeks play out and those episodes do come out, you're going to understand a little bit more about it. But if you are listening to this in real time, then you know that this episode uploaded into your podcast app on a Saturday. See, here's the thing. I drop episodes every Wednesday. For a little while there, we were doing Tuesday, Friday, and then we realized that you didn't respond as well to that. And so we went back to just one day a week and we returned to our Wednesday downloads, or yeah, our Wednesday download episode. And because we do watch that, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is what's going to be best for you. And so I had committed to doing every Wednesday. And in fact, I have done an episode every single week for more than a year. What has that consistency got me? Well, you listening is one of it. That's actually like the big one is the fact that you are listening to these episodes. But the other thing is it's built this routine. And while I am not always 100% on getting out the emails, as I've discovered, particularly through the summer here, somehow summer has created summer breaks, and yet I feel busier than ever before. But also, too, that routine, that having that consistent, if everything else in the business goes wrong in a week, I know I count on the fact that I got my podcast episode out. And this was the first week in more than a year where that might not have happened. And I decided, screw it. We're putting it out. I don't care that it's a Saturday. I don't care that everything else that's gone on. We're putting it out. Because, see, here's the thing your business, your goals, your metrics are only going to be possible for you based on the strength of your excuses. See, the stronger your excuses, the weaker your business. I'm packing up my computers and hauling them in. I've already got the appointment booked for them all to be detoxed. I don't know how else to describe it because I'm not techie, but I have that already in the plans because I am so over Windows right now. I promise this isn't going to be an anti-Windows episode. We're trying not to be divisive around here. But seriously. Anyways, but the thing is though, is that I consider this to have been a really valid excuse. And in fact, if you were a part of the Travel Advisor Success Studio, I was late getting going with our weekly live by like 8 or 9 minutes because of the fact that I couldn't get my tech to work. I tried over and over and over and over again because I record in a different software so that I can upload it into our portal so that you can go back and watch it. And I do actually now try to edit it out, just the chit chat part, so that you get right to the meat and potatoes of it. But yesterday, as I'm trying to get it live, it's not working. It's not working. And finally it goes. But then it shows me that I had been live for 6 minutes and 8 seconds. And I thought, holy crap, did people just hear what I was actually saying? Because I was in a bit of an ADHD rage because it just wouldn't work. So the words that I was saying is not words I would ever say in public. The attitude I had towards it was not ones I would ever do in public. And the sheer blinding panic and horror that it was possible that the outside world might have heard my inside voice was terrifying. But really, what I want to talk about is the fact that you can choose your hard. You can choose your excuses, or you can choose your resilience. Again, it is currently, if I look at my watch, it is 1:41 p.m. on Saturday. I have to be on the road by 2:15 today. I still got a shower. We're going out tonight with a bunch of family. My husband is already like tapping his watch. We're going to wrap this up shortly here. But the thing is, though, is that I decided I'm not going to be home in time to get this uploaded before midnight. Still got a little editing to do. We're just going to hope my husband's okay if we leave at 2:30. But I could choose the excuse. But what would that do? That would break that consistency that I've built. Because now instead of saying I have delivered an episode every single week for 15 months, I'd start over at 0. And see, when you're only 1 month in, it's okay. When you're 2 months in, well, it's kind of still okay. But the longer you go, the more it becomes, no, I'm going to keep doing this. See, everybody talks about this goal and you've got to have motivation. You've got to have this. You've got to have, no, you have to have momentum. And that's what I've built over these last 15 months, even if it's just my own personal momentum. And the problem with momentum is that if you allow your excuses to be bigger, it just goes away. If you allow your excuses to be bigger, to say, I don't have time, you don't understand, I have small children, I have this going on, I have that going on, I have this, that, the other. Understand when you choose those excuses, and I am not minimizing your excuse. I am just making sure you're aware that you're choosing your excuse over your commitment. I had a conversation in my mastermind yesterday, and the one was saying that she has hit her 10,000 steps every day for months and months and months. Funny thing is, I actually recorded a podcast 2 summers ago, I think it was, about the fact that I was doing that and that I was so consistent. And then one day I got sick and I didn't do it. You want to know what happens? You fall off the wagon. And it's like, yeah, I'll get back around to that. But see, once you allow an excuse to win once, that's the momentum that starts to build. The momentum of the excuse starts to become bigger than the momentum of the consistency. So again, it's up to you what you do in your business. You can choose to post on social every day, or you can choose to say, Nah, it's not that important. It's not this. It's not that. And I'm not saying you got to post on social. But when you set a commitment to something, maybe it's sending out your email every week, maybe it's sending out your email every 2 weeks, whatever it is, once you set that commitment, when you choose, because it is a choice, not to do it, you can't be upset when you're not getting the results that you want to get. See, results comes from commitment, comes from execution, comes from consistency. If you want to get more sales in your business, you need to be making sure you are doing all of the steps to get you to a point where you have people asking for you to give them proposals, that you are reaching out and proactively looking for people to want to buy from you. You can't sit in your mama's basement and wonder why nobody's buying from you, because nobody knows when you're sitting in the basement what you do. So, what are you going to commit to this week? What are you going to commit to today? See, I realized that come hell or high water, this episode was coming out. Might come out messy, might even come out buffered. We are really hoping the tech is holding on with gum and duct tape and whatever else it takes to get it out today. But getting it out is the choice. Just the same as not putting one out is a choice. If you want a stronger business, then your commitment needs to be stronger than the level of your excuses. I get it. Life happens. Things come up. But excuses are a choice. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It is up to you which one you are going to choose to make the priority. And I will also tell you, when you have momentum going in something, when you allow something else to put the brakes on, to flip course, to go in the opposite direction, that becomes the direction the momentum is now moving. And it will be harder to get that train going. So if you have taken a break and you're like, oh, it just feels so much harder, I am here to validate that, yes, it is harder to keep it going, or rather get it going, than it is to keep it going. So know that if you are restarting something, it's going to be hard AF to get it going. I recognize that. I want you to recognize that. But I am also here to tell you that in a couple of weeks, in a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months, the more you do it, the more the momentum will build. And the more the momentum builds in the direction you want it to go, the easier it gets. But the same is true if you don't have a direction for things to go. Because if you don't know what direction you want it to go, that momentum is going to be pushing you backwards. It's going to run you over. And then not only do you have to run to chase that boulder to catch it, and then you got to run to get around in front of it, and then you've got to somehow stop it. And then from that stop, you have to start pushing that boulder back up the hill. So yes, it will be harder. Question is, choose your hard. I choose today to continue putting out an episode every single week than to fight my internal dialogue and the story that I will tell myself in another week or two if I haven't put out an episode. See, if you go all the way back to the beginning, and oh my heavens, please don't. With everything you do in your business, things get better and better as you go. And I cringe every time somebody's like, I went back and I listened to the first episodes. And I'm like, oh no, people still listen to those. That's so embarrassing. Trust me, we've all been there. We've all lived that world. But see, when I was in the beginning, I would do 3, 4, as many as 8 or 10 episodes at a time. And then if you look, some of them have a 2-month break, a 4-month break, a couple of weeks break. And every single time I took that break, it was harder and harder and harder to get it going. But now we are 15 months straight of putting out weekly content. And the thing I can tell you is it is easier now to do it than it was back then. Now, interestingly, the episode that I was trying to record is about how to do it when it's not easy, when you are feeling totally creatively blocked. So I am going to record that episode, re-record, I think for about the fourth or fifth time. I'm hoping it gets better every time. But anyways, that episode will be coming out very soon. But until then, choose your hard, choose your excuse or your commitment. That's your choice. And until next time, happy selling.